The 12 Attitudes and Responsibilities of Mastery. MCEO Freedom Teachings, A'sha-yana Deane, Dance for Life 2002. Designed and narrated by Marla B. Lindner. The 12 Attitudes of Mastery and Responsibility are not concepts to memorize. They are living frequencies to embody. Mastery is not about control over life. It is about our responsibility for how we meet life. When we shift our attitudes, we reprogram consciousness itself. And when consciousness changes, our reality flows. Love is the recognition of the truth of the all-oneness. It is the knowing that there is no separation. Love restores unity within the self and with all life. Grace is allowing the all-oneness to be what it is, regardless of whether it suits you. Grace is living perpetual forgiveness. Through grace, resistance dissolves and harmony returns. Gratitude is appreciating the all-oneness and knowing your aliveness. Gratitude brings awareness to the gift of existence itself. It anchors presence in the now. Reverent respect is acknowledging and giving to the all-oneness. It is honoring life in all its expressions. Through reverence, humility, and devotion arise naturally. Responsibility is co-creating with serving and being able to respond to the all-oneness. Responsibility restores inner authority and conscious participation in life. Trust is knowing the power and love of the all-oneness. Trust releases fear and allows life to move through you with intelligence and ease. Accountability is being in a state of truth with the all-oneness. It is radical honesty with the self. Accountability aligns thought, word, and action. Impeccability is upholding and protecting the all-oneness. It is choosing integrity in every moment. Impeccability stabilizes the inner field and preserves coherence. Mindfulness is loving, nurturing, and being attentive to the all-oneness. It is awareness in action. Mindfulness brings presence into every choice. Fearlessness is the recognition of the eternal infinite nature of the all-oneness. Fearlessness arises from remembering the eternal and infinite nature of the all-oneness. When life is known as infinite, nothing is truly threatened. Fear dissolves as unconditional love is recognized in all things. Fearlessness is not a force, it is peace rooted in eternity. This is mastery through remembrance. Engaged detachment, permitting the all-oneness to be without critique or judgment. Engaged detachment is allowing the all-oneness to be without assigning critique, blame, or value judgment. It is fully present, yet not attached to outcome. Engaged detachment honors what is while remaining aligned with truth. This is mastery without withdrawal, participation without entanglement. Joy is choosing to be the embodied all-oneness. Joy is not dependent on circumstance. Joy arises naturally when separation dissolves. Please join me in the 12 responsibilities of mastery, a living pathway of remembrance rooted in the law of one. As we embody these responsibilities, we return to alignment, integrity, and the truth of the all-oneness. This is not something to believe, it is something to live. Self-actualization is the freedom from the victim, victimizer, rescuer, martyr, blame programming, and the willingness to be accountable for all perceivable manifestations as direct projections of intended learning from the personal consciousness and our DNA template. It is the inner choice to step out of the programming and into a higher level of consciousness and awareness. Self-sovereignty. freedom from the need from approval from or the need to rebel against any form of external authority, through understanding that you, as a manifestation of the God Spirit, have the ability to create personal freedom without violating the spiritual rights of others and without allowing others to violate your spiritual rights of being. Self-sovereignty is reclaiming your inner authority. I no longer give my power away to people, systems, or fear. I stand in alignment with my highest truth and choose from within. Self-containment is the responsibility to hold oneself. It is the ability to remain present within your own body, emotions, and energy without collapsing outward or hardening inward. Self-containment means no longer seeking completion, regulation, or validation outside of oneself. You become your own safe container. In self-containment, your nervous system stabilizes. You can feel deeply without being overwhelmed. You can witness experiences without losing yourself inside it. Self-containment is not isolation, it is sovereign presence. Remain open, connected, and engaged while holding your center. Allow emotions to move through you without projecting them onto others. Take responsibility for your inner state and respond from awareness rather than reaction. As self-containment strengthens, your boundaries become natural, not defensive. Your energy returns to self. In the law of one, self-containment is remembrance, and remembering that all regulation, all safety, and all wholeness already lives within you. And from this place, you can be met with clarity, intimacy, truth, without losing oneself. Self-discipline, accepting responsibility for directing personal energies toward, rather than in opposition to the outcomes you desire to experience. The physical, mental, and emotional bodies have long been directed by the subconscious forces of the hidden shadow, creating within us urges, reactions, thoughts, impulses, perceptions, and feelings that often work counter to the life creations we desire to manifest. Part of spiritual mastery entails teaching ourselves to be consciously diligent in observing our own minds, emotions, and physical body talk so that we can employ conscious redirection of subconscious shadow energies that run on autopilot, not a punishment, but deep devotion. We choose actions that support coherence, healing, and embodiment. Self-love. It is our own relationship to love and nurture ourselves through the limitless gift of divine spirit that moves through us at every moment. Genuine love must come from within and can only be gained through genuine spiritual connection to the eternal God Self and its inherent connection to all creation. If we seek love on the outside in order to fulfill a personal loneliness or lack within, we enter relationships as energy vampires. Personal God Source connection through tapping into the God Source embodied within other people or beings. This is not love, it is need. This implies the lack of something essential, which in turn implies a limited personal connection to God Source universal consciousness. Such lack cannot be filled by external love. It can only be filled by recognizing the God within you, and thus recognizing that you are a living embodiment of absolute love. Once this is recognized, you will have the greatest love of all, God love. And from this position of divine power, you can go into the world seeking those to whom you can give this love, rather than seeking those from who you can get love. And when love is approached through self-love, the motivation is to give joyfully, knowing that anything you might need can be manifest through the love of the active God Source that you carry inside yourself. Self-love is a responsibility of spiritual maturity. Spiritual integrity. It is our absolute responsibility to choose to act with spiritual integrity at all times. There is no excuse to knowingly violate the spiritual rights of others, regardless of how poorly they may react to you. Spiritual integrity requires that we begin to look at what we are really doing in the way we live our lives. Spiritual integrity is the responsibility to live in truth. It is alignment between what we know, what we speak, and how we choose to act. Spiritual integrity means no longer separating your spiritual understanding from one another's human behavior. We do not use spirituality to bypass feelings, avoid responsibility, or justify harm. We live what we know. When something is not in alignment, am I willing to see it, name it, and choose again? In spiritual integrity, our energy becomes coherent. We stop fragmenting self to belong, to be liked, or to be safe. In the law of one, spiritual integrity is remembrance that the truth cannot be divided and neither can you. From integrity, trust returns. From trust, clarity arises, and through mastery, alignment appears. Appreciation is the responsibility to recognize what is present. It is the choice to see life as it is, without comparison, resistance, or lack. Appreciation shifts one out of striving and into receiving. And when we appreciate what is here, our nervous system relaxes and our heart opens. Appreciation does not deny challenges. It acknowledges the gift within the experience. In appreciation, we stop waiting for something to change before allowing self to be at peace. In the law of one, appreciation is remembrance that life itself is the gift, and we're already within it. And from appreciation, abundance becomes natural, gratitude deepens, and presence returns. Patience. God's source has its own schedule. We can either acknowledge this intrinsic reality of manifestation and choose to work co-creatively with the God source within, trusting that together you and the universe will create the perfect divine right timing. And if that isn't right now, there is a very good reason for this. Or you can let the ego self try to force it, will upon the intrinsic nature of time. If time does not cooperate with your expectations, you can then let that be okay and trust in divine right timing. Or you can progressively frustrate yourself with attachment to artificial time of clocks and choose to believe that you cannot have what you desire just because it does not appear when you demand. If we learn to relax and realize that most things we desire, we can indeed achieve the divine right time and order. We can learn to work co-creatively with consciousness of time. We will often then find that our lives will progressively better conform to our wishes, especially when we ask nicely rather than demand, and also when we trust the universal God source to do its part in our co-creation. Patience is a virtue, and that reflects our comprehension of the nature of universal order. Kindness. Like respect, kindness is a birthright, but one that is quite often overlooked and misunderstood. When we approach the world through genuine kind-heartedness, sending love and respect to all of creation in honor of the God force that lives within all things, we are again transmitting electrical energy of a higher frequency that will follow the mechanics of universal physics to bring more of the like kind back to us through universal backflow. Kindness is a gift we must first give to ourselves in order to have it to give to others. Kindness implies being conscientious and caring toward the needs, feelings, and desires of both the self and others, and to express this concern and caring in action, attitude, and intention. Give to yourself random acts of kindness, then pass along the gift to others who cross your way. Try being kind to the mean and grouchy neighbor, and you may help them rediscover the ability to smile. And when we treat all things with kindness, we demonstrate that we acknowledge their intrinsic value as manifestations of God's source, and you will often find God's source lovingly returns the favor. Conservation. Conservation is a form of respect and appreciation for God's source energy in all of its expressions, from conserving and protecting our natural resources to being attentive to the needs of our bodies, to using the energies of our words and actions with gentle conservation, by which we freely use what is needed, but not more. God's source continually recycles its energies for the rebirth of new expression. All is given freely, but no thing is valueless or wasted. Conservation demonstrates that we have respect and appreciation for the gift of the creative energy that God's source has provided to us. As we learn to use this energy in all its forms with respect and clear intention, we will progressively fine-tune our ability to create what we desire, and in this process assist all others beings to do the same. There is truth in the old saying, waste not, want not. If everything we perceive in our hologram of life is understood to be manifestations of God's source, we might all employ a bit more respect, appreciation, and conservation toward the use and applications of the energies of the divine. Cooperation and diplomacy. Cooperation is the recognition that existence itself is a co-creative endeavor. Nothing is fulfilled in isolation. Cooperation asks us to honor the needs, intentions, and contributions of all who are part of a creation. Diplomacy is the spiritual art of co-creation, creating with the intention of giving, respect, and inclusion. True diplomacy does not bypass relationship. It acknowledges the pathways through which creation moves and honors the roles each being plays in bringing a vision into form. Cooperation is not an agreement at all costs. It is a mutual respect, clear communication, and transparency in action. In the law of one, cooperation remembers that creative energy belongs to the whole and is meant to be shared responsibly, not redirected without awareness. And through cooperation and diplomacy, trust is protected, fulfillment becomes possible, and co-creation remains aligned with integrity. Sense. Sense is embodied awareness. As healing occurs, the senses come back online, physically, emotionally, energetically, and intuitively. This includes the awakening of the clairs, seeing, hearing, feeling, knowing, and sensing truth beyond the physical. Through sense, discernment becomes natural, intuition becomes reliable, and the all-oneness is experienced directly. Learning to identify and appropriately apply both common sense and the uncommon sense of spiritual knowing will allow us to establish the greatest balance of energy expression within all aspects of our lives. The 12 attitudes and responsibilities of mastery are lived through choice, not perfected through effort. As they are embodied, consciousness begins to shift. Old conditioning softens, reactive patterns loosen, and awareness becomes more present and clear. Through this process, we naturally deprogram from habits rooted in fear, separation, and unconscious response. What remains is greater clarity, personal responsibility, and deeper capacity to meet life with integrity and care. This is mastery in motion, expressed through how we live, choose, and relate each day.